another video to record. What is it this time? Oh, how original. A World War Poo. Well, let's get on with the story. Okay, so we're leaving off from Tanner versus Sven. Tanner is getting his camouflage on, and then he sees it. The bees and the birds, and apparently the spiders are joining now? I don't know. So Tanner grabbed his water gun tightly and started spraying at the bushes. The bees swarmed out. He ducked. But now he needed a refuel. So he got a hose and a bucket and he refueled. But the birds counterattacked him. So Tanner had to go inside. Rum-pum-pum-pum. It's day 2 now, and Tanner is still spraying the bees. The bees keep swarming, and Tanner keeps getting closer and closer, and it repeats the cycle. But just when it looked like Tanner was about to win, the birds came, and they were readier than ever. Okay, so we can all agree that this was bad for Tanner, but he had a plan up his sleeve. He knew that if he went around and attacked from the sides and maybe even from behind, he'd catch them off guard and win the war. And so that's exactly what he did. Tanner was getting way too close to the birds now. The birds needed to do something. The first thing Tanner sees when he walks out of the door is bees hiding and birds locked and loaded. And so he fired the first shot. Tanner took the bushes and the western sidewalk from the birds and the bees. But next, the bees took back the bush and they took back part of the sidewalk. So it wasn't looking too good for Tanner. He kept firing and firing, but no matter what he did, the birds and the bees kept pushing. At one point, they were almost at the house. Tanner uses the last of his forces, which are also his strongest forces. It doesn't work, so Tanner finally surrenders to the birds and the bees. The consequences given to Tanner was he lost land and he wasn't allowed to fight the birds for 2 more weeks. Dun, 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 dun. Tanner may have surrendered to the birds and the bees here, but let's go back to the original place because Tanner is still fighting the birds and the bees over at the other place. But Tanner had a different tactic this time. Instead of just spraying medium amounts over and over again, he took big chunks of water and just started cannoning them into the bushes. But then Tanner found the sweet spot for where the bees were. And so when Tanner started cannoning at the headquarters of the birds and the bees fell with it. And so the bees and the birds surrendered, and Tanner won World War Poo. For now.